Welcome, my dear students and listeners. We will discuss the Anglo-Saxon period or the Old English period in this video today. So, if you haven't subscribed my channel, please subscribe it and share with your friends. So, in this video, we will talk about the Anglo-Saxon period or the Old English period. Both are the same thing. The Anglo-Saxon period started from 450 AD and ends in 1066 AD. In this video, we will talk about the overview of the whole period and the notable figures and works of the Anglo-Saxon period. So, who are Angles and Saxons? Are who are Anglo-Saxons? The Anglo-Saxons conquered England in 5th and 6th centuries, but we will talk about these Angles and Saxons. That who are they? Anglo-Saxons were tribes who lived along the coast of Sweden and Denmark. Anglo-Saxons were the forefathers or the ancestors of this English race. And English was their common name and tongue. The land which Anglo-Saxon occupied was England, now called England. The Angles and Saxons first landed in England in the middle of the 5th century. Chief legacy of this age is the heroic poetry of Christian kind. And after Anglo-Saxons embraced Christianity, the poets took up religious themes as their subject matter of their poetry. And in fact, a major portion of Anglo-Saxon poetry is religious. The two important poets of Anglo-Saxon period are Caedmon and Canwolf. Their poetry was mainly heroic. Now, what is heroic poetry? Heroic poetry is the type of narrative poetry that tells the story of a hero and often a legendary warrior or king. Heroic poetry is also called epic poetry. And after that, we will talk about the prose literature of Anglo-Saxon period. So, prose literature also flourished after Alfred the Great. Who was Alfred the Great? He was the glorious king of Wessex. The Anglo-Saxon period was also marked by the beginning of English prose. The two great pioneers of English prose were Alfred the Great, the glorious king of Wessex, who translated a number of Latin chronicles into English language. And along with him, number two is Alfric. This Alfric was a priest who wrote sermons in a sort of the poetic prose. The tendency of Anglo-Saxon prose was towards the observance of the rules of ordinary speech. The major contribution of this era means the Anglo-Saxon period is the conversion of oral poems into English language. It was the Anglo-Saxon period in which many of the poems and stories that were only spoken and heard, but they were not present in written form of books, translated into English and came into being in written form. In other words, the oral literature converted into written literature in Anglo-Saxon period. Now, we come to the notable figures and works of Anglo-Saxon periods. So, as we mentioned before, that Cadman and Canwolf, these two were the dominant poets, and they were the religious poets of the Anglo-Saxon period. Their poetry was religious. And number three, as you can see on the screen, Alfred the Great. So, Alfred the Great played an important role in the prose of the Anglo Saxon periods. Though much of the Anglo Saxon poetry is lost, there are still some fragments left. The most important poem of this period is Beowulf. Beowulf is an epic and notable poem of Anglo-Saxon or the Old English period. These terms we will discuss in next videos that what is epic poetry or such kind of things. So these terms will be discussed in next videos. Beowulf is an epic poem and notable poem of Anglo-Saxon or Old English period, and it is a tale of adventures of Beowulf, the hero who is a champion and slayer of the monsters. So, mm, this is uh, the Anglo-Saxon period at a glance, as you have heard in this video. So if you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it to learn more and more about English literature and linguistics. And in this channel, we will discuss all the periods of English literature in detail, one by one. This was the chain of that series. We started from Anglo-Saxon period, and in next video we will discuss the Anglo-Norman period, and so on. We will go to the end. So don't forget to subscribe the channel because then you will be able to get more and more materials about English literature, not only about literature, but linguistics will also be touched in this channel. So, subscribe, please, and share with your friends. And see you in next videos. Thank you very much.